laptop or mute.
Welcome, everyone. May I have a mover and a seconder to call this meeting to order? Steve and Brad, that this Committee of Adjustments meeting held on October 25, 2023 come to order at 6 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Are there any disclosure of pecuniary interest this evening? Seeing none? Let the record show there are none. May I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the previous minutes? Steve?
Madam Chair, just for the minutes, it's showing me as attending the last meeting, so if that can be corrected for me to have regards. And then you'll have to put a motion on the floor for the adopted minutes as amended. Thank you.
Thank you. So I can have a mover and a seconder to adopt the previous minutes as amended. Mike and Henry. That the Committee of Adjustments minutes dated September 27, 2023 be adopted as presented as amended. All in favor? Carried. Welcome to this Committee of Adjustments meeting to allow the public an opportunity to express their views regarding the proposed minor variances and consents within the Township of Springwater. Each applicant and their agent, if applicable, will be given the opportunity to present the applications to the committee and public. Additional information on each of the applications, including any presentations material, is available in the committee agenda on the township's website. Following those members of the public who registered to make an oral submission prior to 5:30 p.m. yesterday, October 24, 2023, will be given the opportunity to do so. All oral submissions will be included in this meeting's minutes and form a part of the public record, including the name and address of the speaker as information collected under the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. The minutes of the meeting will be posted on the township website. All comments or questions should be addressed to the chair. Application 1. Will the Secretary Treasurer please introduce the first application, item number 4.1 on the agenda?
Thank you. Item 4.1 on the agenda is consent application B1123 submitted by L Ma, owner of lands known municipally as 3472 Highway 26, being legally described as part of lots 18 and 19 on concession 1, former township of Floss. The purpose of the application is for approval of a surplus farm dwelling consent to sever a parcel of land consisting of approximately 1.27 hectares, 3.14 acres, and 68.58 meters, 225 feet of lot frontage along Highway 26, which contains an existing single detached dwelling and 2 detached accessory buildings. The property owners propose to retain approximately 38.57 hectares, 95.31 acres of farmland.
Have any additional correspondence in or comments been received?
Yes, we received correspondence from Hiawatha First Nation. They stated no concerns. Our drainage superintendent stated the portion of land that is proposed to be severed is outside of the area on the subject property assessed into the Campbell Municipal Drain, and therefore no condition will be required to satisfy the Drainage Act. And Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority stated no concerns.
Can I please have the applicant introduce themselves and provide comment, if any?
Larry and Kate Law here.
If you just want to come to the front, Larry, and just speak into
Yeah,
the.
whichever you prefer.
Say.
Is it on? Yeah. Can you come? Thank you. It's Larry and Kay Ma, and we are the present owners of 3472 Highway 26, seeking an application to sever the house from the rest of the farm property. Mr. Terry Plogue behind me is interested in purchasing that same property. I don't think we have any concerns. We've addressed this Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority. I assume that the MTO is happy with what's going on. There is an entrance already to the severed portion of the property, so that shouldn't be a concern. I have one request, and that is that there's a dome structure there, a 40 by 70 dome structure, that I would ask if we could leave that in until after the sale is complete. It's housing a lot of machinery, and we're not going to have a farm sale until April. Terry wants to close the deal on March the 31st. It's a bad time to have a farm sale in March, so I'd like to postpone that until April if possible, at your approval. That's the only other the only other question that we have that I can think of.
Yeah.
And we're open to any questions you might have.
Thank you. Are there any, thank you. Are there any members of the public registered to make an oral submission?
Thank you. There are no members of the public who have registered to make an oral submission.
Thank you. Do any members of the committee wish to comment or have any questions concerning the application? Seeing none, may I have a motion of one of the committee members for application B11/23? Henry? May I have a seconder? Oh, sorry, Henry has a motion. I stepped over him.
I make the motion that we accept the application with all the implications that are requested by the township, and that also with regarding the dome be put in writing that everyone is aware of the situation.
May I have a seconder? Mike? That the Committee of Adjustments have been giving consideration to the applicable provisions of Section 53 of the Planning Act, the official plan of the Township of Springwater, the characteristics of the land in question and its surrounding is addressed in the planning report on the application dated October 25, 2023. The correspondence received and information presented at the hearing held on October 25, 2023, and the decisions in the matter hereby approve the application B11/23 subject to the following conditions. One, that the applicant meet all the requirements, financial and otherwise, of the municipality. Two, that the applicant provide 2 copies of the registered survey of the convened lands prepared by the Ontario Land Surveyor. 3, that the owner applicant satisfied be responsible for all costs to satisfy Section 65 of the Drainage Act 1990, if applicable. 4, that the applicant obtain an entrance permit for the retained land to the satisfaction of the Ministry of Transportation, MTO, if applicable. 5, that the applicant rezone the retained lands to an agricultural consolidation, AC, prohibiting residential uses, and that the keeping of livestock be subject to MDS requirements. 6, that the applicant rezone the severed lands to agriculture exception A-XX to recognize the 2 existing detached accessory buildings. 7, that the applicant remove existing additional accessory structures as per site plan submitted upon application. 8, that to be confirmed that the private well and septic systems are wholly contained within the private property limits of the severed residential land to the satisfaction of the chief building official prior to the registration of severance. And 9, that the applicant provide an undertaking and draft transfer demonstrating that the retained farms will be transferred to a bona fide farmer. Committee, please indicate if you're in favor. Discussion. Go ahead, Steve.
Through you, Madam Chair, just clarification on this condition that the applicant was requesting on the the coverall or Quonset hut. So you're wanting to leave it up there. So does, and maybe this is a question more for staff, does condition 7, is that what this condition is relating to? And should it be amended? Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair, through you to Member Farquharson. So the condition is worded to include the 2 structures that Mr. Ma wants to permanently keep on the property. So I think that's still the case, if I'm correct. So those 2, what perhaps might need to be done is an amendment to that condition, as you've suggested, to include that 3rd building, even if it's just on a temporary basis. Because as of right now, the way the conditions are worded, that structure would have to be removed prior to registration of the consent.
Thank you. We amend that?
If I have to take it down.
Steve?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So just for clarification to the applicant, so with this coverall, is the intent for it to stay up permanently or come down in March or whenever you do your sale?
It will be offered for sale with the farm sale machinery, which will be approximately the 3rd week of April.
Okay,
So I intend it'll disappear in April,
okay.
one way or the other, whether it's sold at the farm, it will come down in April.
So staff, does the condition need to be amended then? They have 2 years to complete these conditions.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Through the chair to you, Member Farquharson. Is my understanding that Mr. Plogue is interested in having the sale close at the end of March?
Yes.
So this consent would need to be all the conditions met and registered prior to that sale occurring. So yes, they have time, but if they are keeping it past, then we would need to consider it either through a temporary use bylaw or some similar function. I don't necessarily have the answer right now, whether it's pulling a demo permit on that in advance, but because it's an agricultural building, a demo permit is not a requirement of the township generally, is my understanding, but I'm not well versed in that area. I think if we could amend the condition or add something in there to relate it to the temporary use of that, I think that would be satisfactory so that we could discuss internally and figure that out.
Follow up?
Through you, Madam Chair, to staff. So if the condition is for them to rezone, is that realistic? Does the township going to be able to process a rezoning application that quickly? In from the time frame that the applicant is looking to have this completed in March?
Go ahead.
Through you, Chair, to Member Farquharson, I think that the timeline is all right if that application comes in immediately following the appeal period. Generally, we say 3 to 4 months to complete a rezoning. These are pretty standard rezonings that don't require an information report in advance of the public meeting to council. So it's a pretty streamlined process, given that it's a condition of consent.
Steve?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll keep the conversation going while Madam Secretary Treasurer is typing away. Perhaps that is an option, is that we condition it that they apply for a building permit, a building demolition permit. And that way, all they have to do is apply and then the conditions separate, the conditions met. And then the building can come down whenever, really. But it clears that condition that staff can then check off. So I'll maybe let staff comment on that.
Mike?
Thank you. It sounds to me like we might be making this more complicated than is being asked for. The conditions seems okay, except for the coverall. So if we just amended condition 7 to say, accept the coverall would be within 6 months or the end of June as a deadline. And that's really all that was being asked for, I think, right?
Henry, did you have a question?
Yeah, it's just not, it's more a comment. I just wanted, because the applicant is requesting that building coverall stay longer, and I just wanted it in writing, is so that the applicant is aware and that the new landowner is aware. So I was looking for is that building be taken down with a date on it, and so that it can physically be taken down by that time. So that's all I was wanting to have in with my motion. And so however that has to happen, beyond me, but
Can we put, just the staff, I guess, can we put a date? So 7 says the applicant remove the existing additional accessory structures as per site plan submitted upon application, excluding the coverall, which will be removed at the end of the sale. Staff, is that?
Thank you, Chair. I think that the cleanest way would perhaps be to add a condition that the applicant apply for or obtain a demolition permit for the coverall structure, and that the structure be removed prior to June 2023 or something along those lines. We may need to address it through the rezoning, so we don't have a zoning bylaw contravention as well. But we can discuss that internally and make sure that happens through any subsequent rezoning application. But if there is just the straightforward condition that says a demo permit's received, again, it's not necessarily standard, but we can discuss with the building department on that regard, just to make sure that we have somewhat an assurance that the structure will be removed.
So do we add to that number 7 or add a new number 10 condition? Probably more clear if we add a new addition. Go ahead, Steve.
So through you, Madam Chair, I'll put an amendment to the motion on the floor is that we add additional condition as staff have outlined for the applicant to apply for a building permit to demolish the building and for it to be removed by June, the end of June, so June 30th, 2024.
Building permit would be like $50 or something.
Demolition permits.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was. It's like,
Yeah, can I have a second on that amendment? Mike?
So now we go back to all in favor.
All in favor to the amendment? That's carried. Now back to the main motion. So all in favor of the main motion of the 9 of the 9 condition with additional 10 of the demo permit. All in favor? Carried. Is there any other business to discuss this evening?
item 5.1 on the agenda being oh, sorry.
I want to thank you both, Larry and Kay and Terry, for coming. You don't have to stay for the rest. It's short. You can leave if you would like to.
Okay,
But thank
thank
you.
you very much.
thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Good night.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Secretary Treasurer.
Yes, as far as other business, item 5.1 on the agenda being a letter from the Ontario Land Tribunal regarding the cancellation of a hearing that was scheduled for November 22nd, 2023, and a closure of file OLT 001960 has been included as correspondence for the committee.
Do any members of the committee wish to comment or have any questions concerning the application? Steve?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just hoping staff can just give a quick summary of what this application was and if there was reasoning from the tribunal why it was canceled.
Go ahead, staff.
Thank you, Chair. To the committee, some of the committee may recall, there was a application from the Captain family in Nicklin Farm, sorry, the address is escaping me, to sever the farm produce sales outlet from the larger farm parcel for the purposes of estate planning as the Captain's farm, the rear half of that. Staff recommended refusal and council or committee approved the application. Council then decided to proceed with appealing that decision. So we went to the board and the board came to a decision as well. Council then asked for a reconsideration of the board's decision, to which the head chair of the OLT upheld and authorized that review to occur. Through that, a new hearing was scheduled. That is the November 2020 or 22nd, 2023 hearing that was scheduled, was the rehearing on the decision. The applicants have withdrawn their application. So that is why the hearing has been canceled.
Henry?
So the applicant being the Captains then?
Correct.
Thank you. May I have a mover and a second to receive item 5.1? Steve and Mike? The Committee of Adjustments will receive item 5.1 as correspondence. All in favor? Carried. May I have a mover and a second to adjourn this meeting? Henry and Steve? That the Committee of Adjustments meeting held on October 25, 2023 does now adjourn at 6:22 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Thank